Uh, Another thing that we got to do is working on those relationships that you're struggling with. It's not everybody that's easy to relate with. I can think of one person I was struggling with, but I'm through all of this, I'm learning also. I'm good in some area. My social fitness is, it's above average, I would say. But the areas in which I need to build, I need to grow also. So this is, like I say, this is a selfish intent. This is selfish adventure for me. As much as I'm doing this, on Facebook Live, I'm doing this on YouTube, if someone else is gonna pick something and learn, I'm also learning here also. I'm the first student in all of this. I'm learning this. I'm learning this, and hopefully I'm hoping that it will change my life and take me to the new level God will have me climb into, So I have some difficult relationship, the whole me will have just, forgotten about them, and stay on my part, but I'm learning that life is not like that. Life is not about staying my part and being always right. I need to accept that sometimes I'm wrong, and still be able to not build walls, but build bridges, be able to find a way to relate with people that are not easy to relate, but do it without losing the sense of who I am. Right? Do it with still being me, but be able to have trade-offs that I can walk on. It doesn't have to always be my way or the highway. I can allow some trade-offs just to work on the relationship for the intent or purpose for the time that we are together. If we have to be together in a particular setting, then we need to find a way to work together, and that might take some trade-offs, so I'm learning and I'm doing well, I'll say, so be able to relate and put my ego aside, and be able to break some walls, break some either two things I've kept as walls and build bridges, so, and that by doing that, you build your social fitness, being able to work on those kind of relationships and just push your ego aside, and having a positive intent, believing, for positive intent of the person, and still protecting yourself in doing that also. Is not a place where you go through all your nerves out, again, you test the water with 1 foot at a time. You don't put 2 feet into the water. You need to find the floor with the first feet before you take your next feet into it, but you can work on some relationships that are not too ripe, but are important. I'm not saying you should go and chase after a relationship that are not important to you, but if it's important, if you have to be together for any reason, maybe you're walking together, yeah, in a church together, but something that's important to you brings you together, you need to make it work. I have two people working for me that used to typically fight, and I said, hey, even if you have to act it up, you have to learn to work together. I mean, after work, you don't have to talk to each other, but while you're working for me, you must work together. You must find a way to relate together in peace, right? And that's what they do at Disney. People that go to work at Disney, they don't have to be naturally people that make people happy, but they are paid to make people happy. For as long as that they're working at Disney, their job is to make people happy. So that doesn't have to be their natural tendency, but they are paid to do it. So even if it means they have to act it out, they have to make people happy. They have to adapt to what they are paid for, right? The same thing I see when I go to restaurants to eat. The host and the hostess, those that serve, they act the part of that job, right? They're not necessarily the same thing after they close the work. Don't expect them to do the same thing serving you. But while they're at that job, while they're on duty, right? They act the part. They do everything to make you happy for coming to that restaurant to eat. They're doing it partly for their tip, but partly also to keep the name and prestige and of that restaurant, right? So we can do also in some of our relationship, the struggling ones. We need to make it work, right? If they're important and we have to be in those places, we need to make it work, right? So, and that help our ability to make it work, and that's when we talk about emotional intelligence. One who is emotionally intelligent is able to work those relationships, not just the convenient ones, but the inconvenient one, just to achieve the intended objective. Some people will call it politics, but call it whatever it is. But that takes emotional intelligence to love the unlovable, to love the person you don't even like, just to achieve the purpose, the intent for which you are pursuing, right? And in doing that, you become socially fit, right? Again, social fitness is our ability to create and to maintain relationships, right? And so, and this involves being open, honest communication, working together with people to find solutions to issues, that come to pass, that arise over time, and the other part also that would help our social fitness is by giving back to the community, volunteering, right? If you're one that wants to have a relationship, you volunteer. It gives you an opportunity to give back to other people. You are relating with them. You're not looking for anything, but you're just there giving, making other people happy. So another way to build our ability to create and maintain relationship, just by volunteering, being there to help people, to sow back into the community, or to help any of the any place you can volunteer to help, do things for free. I get to volunteer in different places. But so in doing that, you're not forced to do it, but you're giving back. You're there with a sense of giving back. And in giving back, you're relating with people, and that helps you. It helps your emotional intelligence. It helps your social skills, and you never know where that will help you, when you need it. And I think that's the end of that. Just some points to reflect on. That's all we're going to stay on today, talking about social fitness. But just some points to reflect on is we don't always know why we do things, right? We don't always know why we do things, why we don't do things, and we may not understand what is holding us at a distance from people in our lives. Sometimes, and that's what we call the unconscious bias, right? Sometimes we don't know why we do things, why we don't do things, and we may not understand what's holding us back. It's just an unconscious bias. Sometimes there are people that we're attracted to. There are people that we're not attracted to. It might be the way they look. It might be a particular odor or smell or something that's happened in your life, and this person is just reflecting that, and you need to then bring your consciousness, possibly to address your unconscious bias, to also as be able to break the genes of the relationship. That is, if that relationship is important to you. If it's not, there's no use putting your energy on things that are not important to you, but if it is, if you have to be in that place, you need to be able to override your unconscious bias, and break and be able to break what is possibly holding you back, from relating outright, so take some time to look in the mirror can help. Sometimes it takes some time to look in the mirror, look back in your life, why you don't feel attracted to some people, you feel pushed away, if you don't, I mean, again, if you don't have to relate to people, if you don't have to be together, but if it's a place you have to be, It's important you are there, you spend time there. You need to be able to break the ice and relate to the people. You don't have to snub people. And you can do that. You just need to find out in yourself what might be the reason why, you are not being attracted, or you feel drawn away from such people, and then you can manage it. Carl Jung would say that when the unconscious controls us, we think it's fate because we don't understand what's going on. It helps when we reflect, then we're able to then understand the unconscious, and we can take care and be master of that of the results that we get. Again, we have no excuse, right? We are the master of our fate. We're the master of our destiny. One of the way we do that function of being masters is understanding the unconscious that is trying to control us. What is the story? What is the recording? What's the programming in my person that's making me do things in one way or the other? Then I decide which way do I want to go. And then I begin to find out what is in me that is not making me go the way I want to go, then begin to make the right correction so that I can go the way I want to go. Because my unconscious will never be to blame. It will always be me to blame. I am the master of my fate, not my unconscious. I am the master of my fate. I am the master of my destiny. The result is up to me. I will have no excuse that it was my programming that made me do it. Right? I can always override my programming. That's why I need to find out why my programming is going one way or the other. And sometimes that comes by just reflecting, looking back, and finding out, why do I do what I do? Right? Sometimes there are needs inside of us that are looking for a voice, a way to get out. It might be, I had a relation divorce, a few years ago, and it was just not being able to be the master of something from our past, some unconscious, some recording in our consciousness that she did not master, and when we don't master the unconscious, it's going to direct our life in one way or the other. And it might just direct us in a way we don't want. So we need to take charge. We need to ask ourselves questions and take charge. It's not just because I feel like, then it is the right way. I must make excuses for my feel like. No, it's to me, what do I want to go? What destiny do I want? What fate do I want? Then begins to reorganize my unconsciousness and my consciousness to take me to where I want to go, right? No excuses in life. I am responsible, right? In closing, we just look at a few quotes here just to hopefully summarize all that we've shared today. And Marcus Aurelius talks about dwell on the beauty in life, dwell on the beauty in life, watch the stars and see yourself running with them. That's a way to build positivity. Again, when you're positive, you draw positive to yourself. A positive person is easier to make friends and to maintain relationships, right? And that drives, for Christians, Philippians 4:8, Bible says that, think on these things, think on the positive things, think of things that are of good report, things that are of praise, think about the miracles in life. Don't be looking at the sad part of life. Don't be looking at how things will not work. Think about how things will work. Think about how you will achieve. Think about how you get that promotion. Think about you getting that promotion, you having that child, you getting married. Think about you having a job. Think about you being rich. Think about you being able to pay your rent. Think about the things that you want. Think about the things that are praiseworthy, and you attract those things to yourself, right? Don't think about the things you don't want. Think about the things that you want. And the more that you do that, the more joy to bring to your life, and that the more people will want to come and get out of your joy, right? The second quote here from Jack Canfield talks about self-esteem is made up primarily of two things, right? Feeling lovable and feeling capable. right? When you have self-esteem, if you have a good measure of yourself, right, then you are feeling lovable. You're feeling like you are someone that others should want to love. That you are someone that is that someone should desire. You are desirable. You are desirable. You know, we talked about self-care. You know, when you take care of yourself, then you price yourself rightly. You know, you are not one begging for love. You are one that you see yourself as someone that's a price for someone else to get, right? And you also feel capable to be able to love other people and relate with other people also. And that's going to help with social fitness, right? Rebecca Holt Donnell says that become your own soulmate, right? You know, when you love yourself, then you see yourself as someone that's worthy to be loved. You know, you want to share the person that you love with other people. So become your own soulmate, fall in love with yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, no one else will love you, right? Then you'll always have someone watching your back. You always have you. You would never be lonely if you love yourself. If you prize yourself, you always be with yourself. And you always have someone who loves you, right? You always love you, right? I can never get lonely, right? Because I love me and I'm always with me, right? I can live in solitude for the rest of my life because I love myself and I prize myself, right? But because I prize myself also, it's easier for me to relate with other people and maintain relationship, but I do prize myself, right? I'm not going to get into loneliness because I love myself and I love my own company, right? And lastly, you know, this from Happy Positivity, it says dreams, right? They start in your beautiful mind, right? Think of beautiful things and it will manifest into actions because your body will listen to you like it always does. Right? What you think of will affect the whole of your being. It will affect your emotional status, your spiritual status, your social status, right? Your mind affects everything about you, you know, and that's why the ancients in Greek, you know, will put beautiful statues around pregnant women because they believe that what the woman sees affects the baby. It affects the woman and the baby the woman is carrying. The woman, it has a better tendency to give birth to a beautiful child if that woman is in the right psychological mindset. You know, they believe that, and they believe the raising beautiful generations to come. You know, and it worked for them, and it works. You know, we'll see that in the scriptures with Jacob. You know, putting that rod in front of those animals as they give birth, and they give birth according to what they saw, right? What we see affects what we feel, affects what we do, affects who we are, right? And that would help our social fitness. All right, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna stop here, and we'll continue next week. That's all I have for today. Next week we'll talk about loneliness, you know, what you get when you don't have when you're not socially fit, you know, then you're not able to relate, and you have loneliness, you know, knocking on your door and you can't cure it. Loneliness is pretty much you not being able to create and maintain relationships, right? Because by doing that, you solve the hunger of loneliness. Loneliness is simply a hunger for social interactions. That's what loneliness is. And your ability to create and maintain relationship is a way by which you fill that gap, that hunger in your social being. And we'll talk more about that next week, God willing. All right, until then, do have a great remaining of today and have a great week ahead of you. God bless you. See you same time next week.